Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we talk about the ID. There are three things how we can identify an element. One is an ID, one is a class, one is a name. Okay, there are three things. How you can target a particular element, or you can do what? You can, for example, you want to style a particular element, and for styling and for identifying a particular element, we have basically ID and class. Then there is a third thing which is called the name. The name is used for the server side scripting and all, for the JavaScript. Because JavaScript want to see a particular item. Say for example, this is a text box. Yeah, you have put a name in there or email ID in there. And you want to work on that using JavaScript or in the server side. So how we identify that element? Again, we use a name. We use what? So let's try it, our hands on it. अच्छा इस साइड बैठो सारे वहां वाले भी इधर बैठो नजर नहीं आता आप लोग Come here. This is last warning for you, Irfan. अगर आपने फ्राइडे तक असाइनमेंट नहीं की, I will not allow you whole the class. Keep that thing in mind. Okay, I am saying we have three things. Huh? Say for example, I got a paragraph tag here. Okay. All the time I write it here. I got the paragraph tag. Okay, and I put up some lorem here. Say lorem, give me the 100 words. You can put up lorem 1000. Control, say Alt Z to word wrap. Now I got this is my here some 100 words lorem, and so on. Maybe I put up here the ID. Okay, why is I'm writing tab? ID is, say for example, maybe I call it the first. I can do what? Whatever the ID will be laid, the particular ID to that element. Now I am keeping this time the first, and I'm just copying it out. Okay, Control C and Control V, and I call it second. I call it what? Now there are two paragraphs, 1 and 2, and but I have got a name now. The first paragraph is called the first, and second paragraph called the second. So if I want to style up the first and style up the second, I can know, because if I style up the paragraph, it will style everybody, right? If you're discussing yesterday, if you style up the paragraph, if you put up in the style paragraph tag, so wherever the paragraph comes, it will put up the same style. But I don't want same style to each and every paragraph. I want just some style to the first paragraph, other style to the second paragraph. For example, now I have the name, I have the ID of this P as a first and this as a second. And when you say class, you can say what? Class, maybe I call it para, whatever. And I keep the same name to this also. I say class para. Now class is something which can be given name to multiple items. तो जिसका नाम भी क्लास होगा, if I put style with that class, तो जिस क्लास का नाम होगा पैरा, मैंने किसी को भी पैरा दे, जरूरी मेरे पैरा आप मुझे मैं div लगाया, उसको भी नाम रखूंगा मैं पैरा. तो जो स्टाइल में पैरा को लगाऊंगा, वो जिधर जिधर मैंने क्लास पैरा रखा है उन सब के ऊपर अप्लाई होगा. आईडी टू हैव ओनली पर्टिकुलर एलिमेंट. आईडी आप सिर्फ एक को रख सकते हो, वही आईडी आप दूसरे को नहीं रख सकते. ठीक है, आईडी गोज टू द वन पर्टिकुलर एलिमेंट. यानी कि अगर आपके पास 50 पी टैग्स है, आईडी हर एक का अपना अपना होगा. ठीक है, लेकिन क्लास में हम ग्रुप कर सकते हैं. 10-15 चीजों को सेम क्लास नेम रखा, तो जो स्टाइल आप रखेंगे क्लास का वो सबको ही आएगा. और पर्टिकुलर एलिमेंट को स्टाइल करना चाहते हो, कुछ करना चाहते हो, तो उसके लिए क्या है? आईडी. अब इनको स्टाइल में कैसे हम करेंगे एक्सेस? कंट्रोल एस टू सेव इट एंड गो लाइव. इज इट विजिबल? Okay, you should also go to these sites. HTML, this is W3C. Okay, W3 school. Okay, you should go to this site for the notes. I will try to have some questions from this site also and put up on your. Now we have the two paragraphs, right? Right now I have not styled them up. I want to style them differently. and I want to style both of them same, right? So if I want to style both of them, should I use ID or class? Class. If I want a separate styling, I will use, this is what I do here. Okay. Now what I do in a here in a head, I use a style tag. And if I want to use the ID, then I have to use the hash. Hash, say first, whatever the name is, hash first. And if I want to use the class, I have to use the dot operator, dot para. Name, class is a para. First ID. Whenever there's an ID, you have to use what? Hash to it. Whenever there's a class, you have to use what? Dot, dot. Not para. Para could be, you could put anything here. You have to use what? Dot. लेकिन first के साथ पहले मैं second भी करूंगा. Hash second. Hash second लिखा मैं पूरा पूरा लिखा था मैंने. Let me see. Yeah, second. And then if I want to style what? The class, I have to use dot. Dot para. Now see, I will use the maybe the font size or color, maybe font color. I will use the color of the font, maybe red. Okay, of the first guy, Control S. Now if you see here, you will see the first paragraph is red. That is not applied to the next. अगर मैंने स्टाइल किया होता सीधे p टैग को, p टैग को मैंने किया तो जिधर जिधर p था वो सबको ही आता. लेकिन if I want to go to particular element, now then I use the ID. I use what? Now I go to second, maybe I say color blue maybe. Okay, now I got a blue color. Control S, see it. Now I got a second paragraph blue because I am catching the IDs, so I can go particular element and style them up. But if I want a para is what? Class. So it can be for the multiple, and I kept it for the both. Okay, so maybe I go to background color, and I give it to the aqua. Control S. Now you see it will be applied to both. It's applied to, right? So class, multiple items. If you want to give some styling to multiple items, use class. And if you have an ID, that means, and then there is a name. And there is what? Name. Name is used, for example, I got here input tag, okay, and type text. So this is a text box. This what? And its ID is, for example, name, whatever. Maybe before that I put up a label. I put up a label for name, okay, and I got here name, okay. Then maybe I got the ampersand. If I want to put in the space, what should I do? And B, non-breaking space. Control S, save it. Now give it a go. See here. Now we got the name, label, and is a text box where you can write. Okay, if you want to do the click on the name and it should get focused. Okay, it's getting focused. See, I'm clicking the name, get focused, right? Because it's for and ID is same. If I say name 2, for different and its ID different. Okay, Control S. Now if you go here, this thing will not happen. No, you click the name, it will not focus this thing. It is happening because you are creating the same for label को for होता है इसमें ID भी हो सकता है, हम ID दे सकते हैं, we don't want that because label में क्या करना है, अगर स्टाइलिंग करनी है लेबल को भी तो उसमें कर सकते हैं, वो आईडी लिख सकते हैं या क्लास नाम लिख सकते हैं. लेकिन राइट नाउ आई डोंट वांट टू डू दैट. लेकिन इसमें जो है टेक्स्ट बॉक्स का आईडी वगैरह मेरे पास है, ठीक है, और अब आईडी भी सेम है और इसका फॉर भी सेम है, तो ये पेयर अप हो गया. यानी कि जब भी आप लेबल के ऊपर क्लिक करोगे, इस लेबल को क्लिक करोगे, इट विल बी सिलेक्टेड, राइट? ओके ओके. नाउ देन अब इसमें एक चीज है कि अगर मैं इसका नेम दूंगा, क्या दूंगा, देयर इज नो नेम टू इट, लेबल को, ठीक है। बट इफ आई सी this input text box, there is a attribute called name. Maybe I say name. Right now here it will not be used anywhere, but it has an attribute, because what happens tomorrow is control S. What happens tomorrow is you will have a form where you put up the name. Okay, you are putting up the name. Now you want to send it to the server. This was the form, email form or whatever form it was. Now this data is to be stored in a so according to this form there will be a table in the database. ओके यहाँ पे नेम एज वगैरह था, वैसे ही टेबल होगा, उसमें फील्ड्स होंगे, इसके बराबर उसमें भरना है. तो वी हैव टू फेच दिस डेटा एंड drop it into this. So how can we exactly name this text box? Because we need to in this code, in the code now. We need this text box is text. We have to manipulate it. We have to do something to it. Maybe this is a password. We have to encrypt it. How can I, access this? How I get the handle to it? So I need some kind of a name. The IDs and the class, that is for the styling, for the JavaScript and for the database side, for the little server side scripting, you need the name. You need what? That we will come into play when we say start PHP, and you will see how we manipulate things there. But the name is there, right? Getting good. One more thing in this segment I will show you is, before I jump into the form, is div versus span. Div versus. Say for example, I go here, I put up a div tag here. I put up a div. I put up a div. You could say, in fact, like this. Either I choose div and enter, it will give the div, right? Or you could say like this. For example, if you want to give it the class name and all, you say dot. What is this for me? I'm showing something, huh? Dot span. I got dot span. Dot enter. It gives automatically div with the class span. Because dot means class. Dot means what? It's a shortcut way of doing things. You don't want to write. You want to be speedy tomorrow, no? So you just say dot and whatever the class name you want to give to it, and it will create a div for you automatically, and a closing div also. And here I put up some lorem. Okay, maybe 100 word lorem. Okay, now control S. You see it. We have a div. Div gives you some kind of a line break, automatic line break and all. Now I want the div inside of it. I want what? Because what I want to do is this line which I have selected, say for example, it is deprecated. These rules are not now applicable, but it were in a previous version, not now. So what do you do? Maximum times if you see something which is not applicable in this version and which was applicable, it is given a strike through line. I want to do that. I want to style it up separately. Okay. So if I put up a div and style it up like this, if I do one thing, I go here and I want to actually put up a div here. I want to put div here. Okay, maybe this is the lorem. Put some text here, lorem. Okay, div. Control S. Now what happened here is, there's one problem with the div. If you see here, it has broke the line. It was from here, right? It got the lorem, new lorem from here, right? It has broke the line. It has, you put up the line. That's I don't want to do that. This was in continuity, no? So I want, because there is a block elements and there's an inline elements. Okay, write the assignment. You have to group which whatever we have read is a block elements versus inline elements. Like paragraph tag, it's a block element. Isha? You like end to end. You like the mass bar? Italic or like italic? वो बीच में लगाएंगे किसी को, ठीक है? वो लाइन ब्रेक नहीं करेगा आपको. So italic is an inline. Block element से inline elements. ये क्वेश्चन भी आ सकता है. So block elements में बेटा कौन आएगा? ब्लॉक एलिमेंट से वो आएंगे जो बिल्कुल आपको एंड टू एंड लगेंगे, जैसे पैराग्राफ या हेडर टैग हो गया. लेकिन अगर आप करते हो क्या बोलते हैं इटैलिक बोल्ड वगैरह, वो इन लाइन है, बीच में ही आ जाएंगे, वो लाइन ब्रेक नहीं मारेंगे. तो मैं चाहता हूँ डिव का मुझे कोई चाहिए साथी जो डिव ही होगा, जो सेम डिव ही है लेकिन इन लाइन हो. टॉक टेक्निकली, जो इनलाइन हो। div जो है वो ब्लॉक एलिमेंट है। आई वांट द सेम div, but what, for that we have a span, we have what, so span is nothing but a div, so span is nothing but a div, but it is inline, it's what, div की जगह span कर लो, कोई पंगा नहीं, कंट्रोल एस कर लो। अब देखो लाइन ब्रेक नहीं हो जाएगी, यहाँ पे लाइन ब्रेक खत्म है ना। if you want to style them up differently, ठीक है, for example I go here in a style and I choose the div. Now, dude, when you say div here, so all the divs will be given same style. But if you want to be particular, then I use ID or class. You're getting that? Okay, nice. So div, maybe I say color. इसका color change करेंगे हम. Say for example, इसका base color तो black ही था ना? Red रखेंगे इसका color, ठीक है? या black ही रखेंगे. Black था ही था, होने दो. उसका background, इसका background color रखेंगे हम. Say for example, aqua, whatever, Control S. Now I got the aqua here, right? And मैंने div को रखा, किसको? Now I want what? Span, जो मेरा span होगा ना, span को मैं करने वाला हूँ भाई साहब background color change. इसमें आप div को इसमें sorry, span को मैं रखूंगा background color, उल्टे पास था उसके, chartreuse, zero करें थोड़ा न्या पर पास. Okay, and maybe I will use text decoration, and I got that line through. Okay, I just want a line through. Control S. Let's try to see what's happening. Now you see, I got the different color to the span inside, and also I got the deprecated. I'm telling you these are not. Whenever you put up a line and you put up the text there, you put up text and put up a line through. We want to tell people that it was in a previous version and now they are deprecated. This is maximum times you see in Java or here in the VS Code. There are many things in HTML4 which are not in HTML5. So we show them, but we show the deprecated stuff. We deprecated means it's not now supported. Okay, you could say it's now obsolete. Now you see, whatever I do the div, I could do the same to the span. Only difference is div was what? Div was block and span is very good. Getting? Nice. How much time left in the class? क्या रखा? That's a cool name to it. Yeah, but this will confuse with अगर मैं यहाँ पे span लिखूंगा इसको, you're right. Because span is here the tag. If I write here span, will that happen? Because I write a dot. That's the point. Because when I say dot span, it's class. When I say span only, it is a span tag. Okay. So new file, I say form dot html. Now I'm gonna put the form. Form is very important. Use this, and now form is where we actually get the things. Okay, if you're a database side and you want to have some data, you want to take some, say for example, email IDs, your name and all. You want to register you want a student registration system. You have a library management system or any system where we store the record of anybody. Okay, now we need the inputs to take from the user. Okay, so for that we have a form tag. We have what? We got a form. There are two things in it. One is action. Maybe I say something dot php, and I got what method? Get and post. So I will say get, for example. We discuss these things when we say php. We discussed these things here. What is the action doing is what you want to do. Who will process this whole data in this form? There will be some server side file which is actually processing that. So that's what the action does. Method is how we send it. There are some two associative arrays with us. One is the get and post. We'll talk them more in the PHP. Okay. Right now you understand this is get and post are actually what? They're associative arrays. Okay. They store things. Whatever is on the form that will be stored in these arrays. Later we take from this get and post into the database side. Okay. And action is which PHP or whatever the server-side scripting or Java file or .NET file or whatever language you are using on the server side, okay, that is processing this form. Okay, we will do that when we start doing the server-side scripting. Now in the form there are many tags. Firstly, there is a label tag. There's what? I put up a pre because I just don't want to, line breaks and all. As a pre tag. Pre tag reserve those spaces. Now there's a label. There's what? So I say name, maybe I say first name, F name, and here we go with the first name, FIRST. Do tell me, I don't want to run into the next class, okay? Do tell me when you're done. First name, label for F name, first name, okay? What will happen by this control S? You will see, I gotta go, it's a new form. I go live. You see the first name label is coming up, okay? And the pre tag, that's why giving that space and all. क्योंकि यहाँ पे जैसे लिखेंगे ना वैसे ही आएगा यहाँ पे. अगर मैं इसको यहाँ पे ले जाऊंगा थोड़ा सा, ये ना इसको उसी हिसाब से आएगा, क्योंकि pre tag reserve all those spaces and new lines and all. I don't want to say. Next time we use the div to give those spaces and all. Later on you will see the flex box and we have the grid layout and we can use the Sass or Bootstrap or many more things to do all this spacing and decoration of the text. Now, first thing, if I want a first name, what is that? It's an input box. I want an input box for that. So you say just simply the input. Type is good text. It automatically gives this is what we want right now because text is this text box. But you should keep the what? The name of it. Maybe this is the first name because this name will be required where? In the JavaScript and all. Okay. And I also want the ID maybe because if I'm gonna style it up, then I need an ID or class and whatever you like. Maybe I use a class for all the text boxes. Okay. Right now I use an ID and F name, and I keep same. Whatever is the for, I keep the same. Control S to see it. Because if you just click this, it will go because its for is same as its ID, right? समझ में आ रहा है ना? इसका जो for है वो F name है ना, वो same है ID का. तो समझा नहीं? अगर इनपुट अच्छा आई गॉट इट वो उधर भी आता है. नो वो HTML4 में भी आता है, वो सब में ही आता है. यानी कि अगर आप कहीं पर भी टेक्स्ट लिखोगे वो आएगा, लेकिन कल आपको उसको स्टाइल करना है ना. यू कांट स्टाइल इट. ठीक है, तो वरना लेबल टैग ही नहीं होता फिर. अगर आप कहीं पर भी कुछ लिखोगे ना वो सीधे, जैसे मैं लिखूंगा यहाँ पे, मैं कुछ भी लिखूंगा यहाँ पे, जैसे मैं लिखूंगा यहाँ पे हेलो, ये तो आएगा. हाँ, the hello will be there ना. You see hello will be there, but how will you access it? You have to style it up ना. Do not keep it like this. आपको स्टाइलिंग करनी पड़ेगी, पैडिंग करनी पड़ेगी, कलर करना पड़ेगा जब ना आपका पेज बनाओगे. तो ऐसे हम नहीं रखेंगे, ठीक है ना. सो वी नीड दिस वाज नॉट HTML5, दिस इज बिफोर आल्सो. अब कोई भी HTML खोलो, वहां पे लिखोगे टेक्स्ट, वो आ जाएगा. आपने हेलो लिखा, बस बॉडी टैग में वो आ जाएगा, ठीक है, लेकिन उसमें आप फिर उसको एक्सेस नहीं कर पाओगे. ओके ओके, maybe I copy this out, control and drag it down, and this is last name, maybe L name, first name and last name रखते हैं खाली, बाकी नहीं करते last name. It is बाकी तो same ही रहेगा ये last name. So here we got a L name and ID also the L name. Now I got a couple of guys here for the first name and the last name. Okay. Now I want also with the first name and the address. I want what? For that I got a text area. I got what? Text area. Maybe this is the address address, ID also address, address. Okay, so address. Maximum times, I usually, when I do the projects, I usually keep like it's a text box. I will keep it like txtl name. तो ताकि मुझे समझ आएगा कि भाई ये जो लास्ट नेम में ले रहा हूँ ये टेक्स्ट बॉक्स का, ठीक है ना, क्योंकि बहुत सारे रेडियो बटन है, मैं इसको लिखूंगा ये रेडियो था R8 ताकि मुझे कोडिंग में फिर आसानी हो जाएगी. सो पुट अप द प्रीफिक्स और पोस्ट फिक्स, ये था क्या. फिलहाल ये एड्रेस टेक्स्ट एरिया इज एन एड्रेस जिसमें कॉलम्स 30 रोज 10 दे रहा है. आप अपना मर्जी आप कितना करोगे क्या करोगे, ठीक है. दिस इज द टेक्स्ट एरिया. मे बी इससे पहले मैं एक लेबल दूंगा पहले कि है क्या ये एड्रेस है भाई साहब, एंड आई कॉल इट एन एड्रेस add whatever address. Control S to save it, and you get the text area, the big area where you can write the text. Okay, it's actually movable, you can move it around and all. Okay, so here's the big where the whole address. Now I want to just have an email, for example. Damn it. I just want to have an email. I have what? I put up a label here. Maybe I just give some space here. Okay, don't do that. Right label. Email, and write email. I got an email tag. For email, we have a special tag input. Yes, you see input colon email. Okay. Now this will be like, this will be like a text box, but it will take emails only. You see, if I click it, it's giving me, I got a couple of emails which is in my browser. Actually the browser is throwing it. Okay, that do you want to use Juni Srinagar or do you want to Juni at the library? Gmail or this, there are two email IDs. No browser knows it, so it's throwing it up in an email. Okay, specifically made for the email, right? And you click it, it's selecting it because the for and the ID is same, right, sir? What else you want? You may want to choose the course. Do you want to be the MCA or BC or whatever? Okay, maybe the city, which district you are in, which district you are in. So drop down list. So I got a label here. Firstly, label for city. Maybe I say city or district or whatever. DISTRICT, and I called it bro. It's district. Select your district. Okay. Now I want what? Drop down section list. So call it select. Then it's not an input. It's select. Remember that. The rest of these are inputs. This is select. This is what? Text area is also not an input. Text area is not input. Okay, and select is not an input. Okay, name, district, right? ID, district. You have to keep proper names because tomorrow you want to use them in the code. And between the select, you got options. You got what? You got the options OPT, ION. Maybe if I say into 3, it'll give me 3 options. Okay. Say Srinagar, Pulwama, and whatever. Then you got it right here, right? Srinagar, Hanji, Pulwama, and now you see, tomorrow you want to see it, select. So how will you see it? Using the the value. Okay, there could be also the IDs and all. We can do that also. And Control S. जी इंडेक्स से भी कर सकते हैं, राइट, वो भी कर सकते हैं. अब अगर इसमें मुझे सिलेक्ट रखना है शुपया, मतलब जब मैं इसमें आ रहा हूँ, ठीक है ना, पहले कौन आ रहा है, कॉपी, कंट्रोल वी, श्रीनगर आ रहा है ना, मैं चाहता हूँ कि शुपया आए, कौन सा आए, सिलेक्ट हो कि शुपया घुसा सा, तो क्या करेंगे, यहाँ पे लिखेंगे selected, control S. Now if you go here, when you open it up, close this, control V. Now you see Shupaya is getting selected. Okay, oh yeah, that's all for today. We will continue this, not a problem, tomorrow inshallah.